This video focuses on the Ank of Life and the Book of the Dead. There is one problem with this video regarding the cursor and a little white arrow. In the making of this video, I have pointed my cursor at areas on a map or within the game, and I have noticed that there is a secondary little white arrow that appears that is beyond my control at this time. I hope to find the source of that problem and to fix that in future videos. Unfortunately, in this video, there is an arrow, a little white arrow that shows up that is misplaced. It should be a pointer. It should overlie with the crosshair cursor, but it does not. And in future videos, I will try to find out what has caused that problem. In my spreadsheet for inventory items in various templates or worlds that are not called the same thing as they are called in regular Minecraft, the Totem of Undying in Mummy Valley is the Book of the Dead. However, in one's own inventory, it appears as a Book of the Dead with ordinary white writing, but in a cloned chest based on the original chest where the Book of the Dead is found in the game, the Book of the Dead as found in the game has this purple writing. It does not have this enchanted book look as do enchanted books. But it is a Totem of the Dead. It is not a book. Therefore, it cannot be opened like a book. I went to Dig Minecraft to see what can we do with the Totem of Undying. It isn't armor that you wear. It is an item that you hold in your hand. If the player experiences fatal damage while holding a Totem of Undying, the Totem of Undying will restore 1 health point and give the player Regeneration 2 for 40 seconds and Absorption 2 for 5 seconds. In the crafting menu within your inventory, move the Totem of Undying to the offhand box. This is in Windows 10. You should see this. However, in Mummy Valley, it will be the Book of the Dead and not the Totem of Undying. You can hold the Totem of Undying in either hand to gain the Undying effect. When you receive a fatal blow, you will hear the sound of thunder, and the Totem of Undying will appear in front of you along with green sparkle effects. The Totem of Undying will immediately restore 1 health point and clear all status effects from your character. You will be given Absorption 2, which gives you 4 yellow hearts. You will be given Regeneration 2 for 40 seconds. You will see these icon effects in the top left of the screen. The Totem of Undying has saved you from dying in the game. Once the Totem of Undying has been used, it will disappear from your inventory and you will not be able to use it again. I now have a Book of the Dead and the Ank of Life in my hands. These will be important towards the end of the game. The Book of the Dead not as a book, but as the Totem of Undying. The Ank of Life as an enchanted apple. Sorry, I mean an enchanted golden apple. Within the game itself, there is only one Ank of Life that I have found. No previous YouTube videos by other people as of today, December 13th, 2018, have reached the point that they have completed the whole game and that they have found the Ank of Life and the Book of the Dead. The videos are in survival, not in creative mode. So that is one of the reasons I have done this video, in order to demonstrate and have a showcase of what is going on creatively and design-wise and programming-wise behind the scenes, and how these items work, that especially in survival mode, if you don't have the inventory to figure out what they are, that can be much more difficult. It's not easy in creative mode. So what can we do with an enchanted golden apple, often called a notch apple? When you eat an enchanted golden apple in survival mode, it gives you status effects such as regeneration 2, absorption 4, resistance, and fire resistance. A golden apple, not enchanted, in survival mode gives you status effects such as regeneration 2 and absorption. So the golden apple, which in Mummy Valley is a plain Ankh, A-N-K-H, is less powerful than the enchanted apple, the enchanted golden apple, which is in Mummy Valley the Ankh of Life. Tip: be sure not to confuse the two different golden apples. In the previous videos using Mummy Valley by other people, there are ordinary Ankhs that are used to have restorative effects, and those are distributed plentifully in various chests throughout the entire Mummy Valley world. So now let's look where we can find the Book of the Dead, and that will be at the Draco Pyramid in the north central area of the map, at approximately this green locator where my cursor is. Hopefully you can see my cursor. Look for the crosshair cursor, the crosshair, not the little white arrow. Be sure to look for the crosshair, which is somewhat hard to see in this video. And that is just pretty direct and straightforward. Then, to find the Ank of Life, that is not quite straightforward. The hint book indicated that the Ankh of Life would be deep within the Pretty Good Pyramid, deep below the Pretty Good Pyramid. But that is not so. There is no access to all these surrounding areas, hallways and chambers, directly through the pyramid. The Ank of Life will be found approximately at the green marker here on the outskirts of the pyramid, but not deep underneath it. It is deep underneath the ground, but not deep underneath the pyramid itself. The entry point to get to the Ank of Life is approximately here at the border of L22, of L3 and L22, just at the very edge of L22. It is a deep shaft that one enters, then goes up, jags over, comes around and follows these green locators, gets to the end of a hallway. The player looks across the chamber, and there is the Ank of Life. So now let's fly on over across the northern edge of this world, and you can see Anubis 2 as we move along the northern edge towards the east, and Draco Pyramid has come into view. So let's go down Draco Pyramid, cross over. Notice this is a portal to the Duat. Later in the game we will need the Eye of Horus. The Eye of Horus is the Eye of Ender in basic Minecraft. This will be needed later to fill in this empty spot in order to cross over through the portal down into the end, but we aren't doing that just yet. The Eye of Horus will be available at, or was available at Crescent Lake, deep down beneath Crescent Lake, about in the middle of the game. Time-wise in the middle of the game, not location-wise on the map of the world. I have built a fence around this chest to keep unruly, excessive mobs away from here. And here is the original chest with the Book of the Dead. It is possible to clone these chests elsewhere. So now we'll back up and go to the location of the Ankh. I have switched to a Surface Pro 4, and I don't know if you will notice a difference. I was previously in a Lenovo W540 Thinkpad. So we are flying now southwards. According to the hint book, the Ankh of Life is under a pharaoh's tomb located deep below the pyramid. It is not. So what looks like a tomb, perhaps this looks like it to be. The tomb is between the Sphinx and the pretty good pyramid. Off in the distance you may be able to see the Anubis 1. Deep below is where we need to get to a maze of halls and chambers, one of which contains the Ankh of Life in a chest. So again, we are located here for entry into the hallways. I'll jiggle the cursor around. Hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to see the right spot to get down this ladder. So we're going approximately 20 blocks deep beneath the surface. I have added signs and images that are not in the original template of the game. So we entered here, and we're going to take a jag off, and then we'll be into another map. Follow Lapis Path to find the Ankh of Life. Ahead to Chamber 2, Ankh of Life. And remember, the Ankh of Life is the enchanted golden apple in regular Minecraft. The plain Ankh is not enchanted, but it is a golden apple. And here we are at approximately 50, 56, 43. Ankh of Life is in the chest. And we are located now just at the northern edge, towards the east northern edge of the Pretty Good Pyramid. We are not beneath the Pretty Good Pyramid. To save a little time and to make things easier, I have created a shaft to the surface. For this shaft to the surface, I started above the ground using the coordinates and worked my way down. Why did I do that? Because I did not want all the sand to collapse into the chamber. So I was very careful about that. To recap, we entered approximately here to get to the Ankh of Life. If you follow the locators, hopefully you can see the cursor. Took a little jag, went down the hall, looked across the chamber, and there it was. Oh, by the way, I did also remove some of the decor in this chamber so that from this hallway I was able to look across to see my posted sign for the Ank of Life. So what you see in this video includes things that I have done that are not in the normal game, because I am more interested in the creative aspects of what goes on in the game. That's all. Bye.